I suppose it's time to get started. Hello and good evening. Now I just threw all this together fairly quickly. Hi, Julie. So, if the audio's a bit loud, or, if it's distracting, let me know. So that way we can have a nice, enjoyable, spooky night. So I figured the best thing to do, for me anyways, is, of course, offer context to what these starting stories are. And of course, if I get tired of telling them, I do have creepypastas ready to go. Or at least I have the website open, set to the top rated, and that way, well, you can get a nice story after all. Hello, Aunt Mage. Welcome in. Of course, the main reason why I like to tell these stories is because I've gone through a lot of stuff. And as such, I like to keep the memory nice and fresh in my brain. Because if I don't, it'll die. Also, I think I'm doing alright. Also, hi, Kate. Yeah. I may have only eaten one time today, but the one time I did eat was the curry that I made with my own two hands. And yes, it was amazing. So for now, everyone, just go ahead, get nice and cozy. Pull on those headphones, maybe a blanket, something nice to drink, and make sure to not check behind you. And a bit of a disclaimer, whenever I tell these stories, unfortunately sometimes things can and will happen. And thus, I take no liability for my actions. Spooky story time? And the curry looks great? Oh yeah. Cat on lap, already cozy? You're already ready. Let's begin, shall we? Now, when I say spooky stories, there are of course weird things that have happened, sometimes involving creepy people or weird situations, but mainly I do mean ghost stories. Some people may or may not believe, and well, to that I say, fair enough. You've had your own experiences and I've had mine. Entirely too much has happened. And of course I've experienced things since I was little. I remember seeing a weird, strange, giant witch waiting by my bedroom window that was there one moment, gone the next. That was weird. But all those little strange things that happened. Not the ooga booga. That'd be funny. Nothing compared to my time working at a place called the Haunted Museum. Now, I was under NDA. I'm not sure how long the NDA goes for, but all I know is it's been 3 Final Fantasy XIV expansions. I should be able to talk about everything. Plus, I'm referring to a building with rooms in it that no longer exist, which means they're not even real anymore. So yeah, everything should be able to be free and on the table. Now, Zach Bagans' The Haunted Museum first began its life as the Wengert Mansion. The Wengert family was very wealthy and very well beloved in the growing community of Las Vegas. Yeah, and this was before Las Vegas was the big giant city that it was. No, it was still like just a little dinky train station. I was going to talk about Walmart. Walmart is a scary place, you are correct. But sadly, the Wangerts did pass away inside of their home. And while it was said that the spirit of their youngest son followed them to that place, the other two children had grown up and left, and so the building lay destitute. It was abandoned, and of course, with any abandoned building, people are going to break inside and do some weird things, like perform satanic rituals in the basement. Many weird things were found inside that basement, including a broken down gun, and blood, and more, and that pentagram. Too many people have talked about that place. Like, there's no denying that all those rituals are happening inside of there. And of course, the energies only got worse when the next residents took over. The law offices of Nevada. That's a joke, by the way. Not that they didn't take over the building, but that they're evil. No, they're the Bar Association. They're supposed to make good lawyers. But they themselves experienced some weird things, highly, as they owned the building, and no one was really comfortable inside the basement after that point, even though they cleaned the pentagram off the floor. But then Zach Bagans came on by and bought the building, because turns out after several years, 20 seasons of hosting ghost adventures and several spin-offs, he had acquired quite a collection of items, either purchased, acquired, or gifted, of course. And one day, he found himself suddenly dragged out of his bed, and he said, okay, maybe I shouldn't have all these things inside my own home. Brought them over to the old mansion that he purchased and converted it into the Haunted Museum, where not everything in there was a haunted or cursed object. But some of them were definitely very powerful. Items from killers, murderers, serial killers, items from celebrities, stuff from around the world, with so much meaning attached to them. Place is pretty powerful. And then you have the other side, which was definitely very powerful and haunted, such as the haunted mirror of Bela Lugosi, the original Dracula. We had the Dybbuk box, the most haunted object in the world, Peggy the doll, a demonically possessed doll, the famous chair from the Ed and Lorraine Warren case. I think there's a movie about it now, but the Devil's Rocking Chair, and the Demon House Stairs of Gary, Indiana, featured in Zach's own documentary Demon House. Man, fuck those stairs. And then so many more objects and stuff from all around. That's where I came in. Because, as I mentioned, I worked there for basically 3 years. My life was inundated with all this energy almost every day. And while I was spared a lot of it most of the time, either working outside, stuff still happened outside. Things did happen every day to somebody at least. There's a reason why I made you sign a waiver to enter inside the building. Real thing, by the way. It was always fun whenever people would go and read the waiver and then go all, death? It was paragraph 2. And it's like, yeah, no, we're not responsible. Don't be the first person to, like, hit that death clause, though. He'll give us tons of publicity. And it was, of course, a very, very fun time. But we're only partially here for fun. The rest of you, we're here for spooky, the creepy, the strange things that happened while we were there. So let's talk about some experiences, either ones that guests had or others that I experienced myself or other tour guides. There are of course a lot of objects to talk about. Did any of those catch your interest? We also have the death van from Dr. Jack Kevorkian. There used to be a haunted art gallery, a room dedicated to the Odd Fellows. We have an iron lung. So much inside that place. You know, something that most people don't like is haunted dolls. So let's talk about those, shall we? Now, of course, the museum had entirely too many haunted dolls. The place was littered all over with them, and we just kept getting more and more. One of those was Cynthia, who had been featured in a few episodes of Ghost Adventures. Now, she was channeled by a voodoo priestess at one point, and one of the things she said she wanted was a tea set. But we kept her kinda locked away for a while, people enjoying seeing her inside of our haunted doll closet, until we decided to place her down at the bottom of the basement